In the dimly lit office of a large, faceless corporation, Sarah sat alone at her desk, her fingers dancing across the keyboard. The clock on the wall displayed 10:30 p.m., and the rest of the office had long since emptied out, leaving her with nothing but the soft hum of fluorescent lights for company. It had been a long day of crunching numbers and analyzing data, but Sarah was used to burning the midnight oil. As she typed away, she couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. It had started weeks ago with subtle signs. An unfamiliar sticky note left on her desk, her office chair adjusted to a different height, her computer's screensaver changed. At first, she dismissed these incidents as mere office pranks, the kind of harmless antics that bored colleagues might engage in to break the monotony. But then things took a sinister turn. Sarah began receiving anonymous emails from an address that read, yoursecretadmirer@email.com. The messages were cryptic, filled with unsettling compliments about her appearance and details about her personal life that no one outside of her closest friends should know. The tone grew increasingly possessive and obsessive with each message, leaving her with a creeping sense of dread. One evening, as she was preparing to leave the office, Sarah found a bouquet of wilted roses on her desk. A handwritten note accompanied them, its message chilling in its simplicity. "I'm always watching." She immediately contacted building security, but they found no evidence of forced entry or tampering with the surveillance cameras. Fear gnawed at her, and she decided to confide in her closest coworker, Mark. He was a tall, friendly man who had been with the company for years. Sarah hoped he could provide some insight into who might be behind these disturbing acts. Mark listened to her with concern, his brows furrowing as he absorbed the details. He suggested they review the security footage together to see if they could spot anything unusual. The thought of confronting the stalker filled Sarah with a sense of dread, but she agreed, knowing she couldn't face this alone. As they pored over the footage, they discovered something deeply unsettling. At various points, a shadowy figure could be seen lurking in the background, just out of the frame. This person seemed to be present in the office at all hours, even late at night when Sarah was alone. Their face was obscured by a hood, making identification impossible. Terror gripped Sarah as she realized the stalker had been watching her, not only through messages but also in person. The revelation left her feeling vulnerable and exposed. Mark suggested contacting the police, but Sarah was hesitant. She feared the stalker's reaction if they realized she was actively seeking help. Days turned into weeks and the situation escalated. The stalker began leaving unsettling gifts on her desk, a lock of her hair, a framed photograph of her from a family vacation, and even a chilling message written in lipstick on her office window. "I'll never let you go." One evening, after another late night at the office, Sarah received a text message from an unknown number. It contained a photo of her leaving the building, taken from a distance. The message that followed sent shivers down her spine. "I know where you live." With trembling hands, she called Mark and pleaded for his help. He rushed to her apartment, and they spent the night securing the doors and windows. Mark insisted on staying to keep watch, vowing to protect her from this unknown threat. As the hours passed, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that the stalker was still out there, watching and waiting. She was trapped in a nightmarish cycle of fear and paranoia, unable to escape the relentless pursuit of this twisted individual. Weeks turned into months, and despite the police's efforts, the stalker remained elusive. The anonymous messages and gifts continued, each one more unsettling than the last. Sarah's life had become a waking nightmare, and she lived in constant fear for her safety. One fateful night, as Sarah and Mark sat in her apartment, the power suddenly went out, plunging them into darkness. Panic set in as they fumbled for flashlights and tried to contact the power company. In the pitch-black apartment, they could hear the faint sound of footsteps approaching. A voice, cold and filled with malice, whispered from the darkness, "I told you, Sarah, I'll never let you go."